how Wikipedia wastes their freaking budget.
Oh, dude, I saw this. I was like, who is donating to them?
Like seriously. Now, about 50% of it goes to the infrastructure. We got that. And the effectiveness, sure, that's fine. But really? 11.6 into safety and inclusion and 17.6 into equity? Like, why is that necessary?
Well, see, here's the thing.
These
I don't even
slices of the pie should not exist. It's Wikipedia.
Here's the thing. They need to explain what is effectiveness, because that is a kind of a blanket term.
Yeah, I know, but like
I get infrastructure.
This one I get, but the rest of this, I mean, this one, it's okay, whatever. But this here, these two pieces of the pie should be 0%.
I get a feeling that effectiveness is advertising.
Probably. But yeah, like these two pieces of the pie should be 0%.
Yeah.
There's nothing about Wikipedia that requires safety and inclusion and equity.
That right there tells you that your high school teacher was right, and Wikipedia is not a citation.
Yes,
I hate that they've done that now, or like you can use Wikipedia as a citation.
To like bounce back and forth, right? Like, because when I was in high school, Wikipedia is not a citation. You can't use Wikipedia. But then I have seen teachers, with the kids, not my kids directly, but other kids and stuff like that, where, well, he said I can use Wikipedia. And I'm like, why? You want the most I mean, if it's not something like just totally benign, it is probably inaccurate.
Yeah.
A lot of the times. Or it might even be fake, because there was that fake war that was on Wikipedia for like a decade that just stood the test of time. They might as well just leave it up now.
Well, and then you got
under it or something.
Ubisoft influencing them.
Yeah, you got that one guy who made that Yosuke article or something that referenced him, which then referenced him, and then referenced him in this giant circle jerk of referencing himself to make him the most knowledgeable person on Yosuke the samurai that never actually existed.
Well, I'm not for sure, but I think it came out that the retainer story might not even be true.
I don't think he was ever a retainer to begin with.
Well, no, that's what they tried to do. They're like, well, he was a retainer.
Yeah, he was a retainer. I forgot about that bit. He was just a black guy in Japan for a short minute that did absolutely nothing and then left. And it seems more like he was kind of an indentured servant or something to this other group anyway. And he was a novelty and more like a pet to Nobunaga or something while they were around for a hot minute.
Yep.
For what little was written about him. And it's just like, I don't know if that's if that's who you really want to make this fictional thing about. But okay. You might be better off just making an Assassin's Creed and have the Afro Samurai in it, and it would probably go over much better. You can set it in fictional world of the Afro Samurai thing, and because
actually,
that was an anime that people liked or something.
Oh, the Afro Samurai was awesome.
People absolutely love that. You might as well just make an Assassin's Creed center around that story and ask for the rights to use that. Would have been done a lot better.
Imagine this, all right? A Assassin's Creed in Wakanda. Marvel crossover.
Think that Wakanda's a real place, which kills me to no end.
Yeah.
That there are people who think it's real.
Well, dude, okay, I sent you that video that had the math problem.
Yeah, I didn't finish watching it, but...
Dude, the guy at the end gets it completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't even know what the math problem was. I got interrupted.
It was the large dog, small dog.
I don't remember.
But yeah, it's in your DMs.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Wikipedia wastes its money.
What a shock.
And it wastes, what, 5 million on this shit? Over 5 million?
Let's see, safety and
Don't
inclusion.
donate to Wikipedia. That's the moral of the story. Don't donate to Wikipedia.
At least 31 million, but upwards to 70 million. Because we don't know what effectiveness really entails, so.
Okay. So I'm reading this right here. Misses the point entirely. Diversity is the only way you can harness the wisdom of the crowd without groupthink, creating biased results. Reading the literature on groupthink and group polarization to see why I say this. Now, I haven't read that, but I will be happy to go read whatever nonsense I'm sure that is. But here's the thing. When you get people like this, they like to gaslight you, right?
Yeah.
Because what they say, it's kind of true, right? You get this diversity of people to not have, groupthink and stuff like that. The problem is when we're talking about things like this and diversity, that's not what they want. Because the second you get a conservative or somebody who leans slightly right of whatever left side that they are on, they're shunned.
Anybody write a Mao?
You write them out. You get rid of them because that's not what they want. When they say diversity, DEI, diversity, inclusion, and equity and stuff, what they're saying in these kinds of circles, like Wikipedia, whatever you want to call it, they're referring purely to skin color because they're a bunch of racist asshats, right? Because they can't see past skin color. They think diversity is having a black guy, an Asian guy, and a white guy. Oh, and they all have to be women and they all have to be lesbians. That's diversity to these people. That's not true diversity, but that is diversity to these kinds of people right here that we're talking about in this particular thing right here. So it doesn't really matter what the groupthink study or whatever he's talking about even says at this point because it's mute and it's mute. It's pure gaslighting at that point because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a bunch of racists here who think that the only thing that makes you diverse from somebody is whether you're black or not, or black enough when it comes to, say, Microsoft or other places too, because apparently that's a thing that we have found out from, people being caught on hot mics and cameras and stuff like that, that they won't, if you're not black enough, they don't want you, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's why it's such a problem.
There's a thing going on right now on Twitter about the immigration thing and particularly pertaining to Indians and the nepotism. And hi, Meg.
Hey, Meg? What's up? Yeah, I know. Streaming from
special guest star.
I was just about to go on a racist rant against Indians.
Don't do that.
I was like, speaking of diversity, speaking of black enough, what's up, y'all?
We're finally diverse enough. We're finally a diverse group here. No, wait, let me fix this. Okay, now we're diverse.
Oh, you know what? Fair enough.
The old white guy. The
right, Zio. I don't think
I
don't think it's fixed properly. I think you need to lower yourself. check your white male privilege.
You're right. I am so sorry. The privilege hierarchy should look like this. Now, Meg is where she needs to be, up at the top there, because she checks more boxes than we do.
I do. I check so many boxes. You have no idea.
No, we were talking about this comment down here where this guy, Michael Baxter, is gaslighting people into diversity because
Michael Baxter.
Baxter.
I love that film, by the way, Bruce Almighty.
Gaslighting the term diversity because they don't seem to, because they like to do that, right? And when we're talking about it, we're just talking about skin color because that's all they ever see. Their idea of diversity is a black guy, a white guy, and an Asian guy. Oh, and make them all women and gay. So that actual diversity of these people. While for the rest of us, if we actually wanted diversity, we would have people like from the left, the right, different skin colors, different lived experiences, actual differences, and we don't shun somebody because they're slightly right of center or something.
Well, so these people are very, very superficial. But the
Yeah.
other thing is that, so when people say we want diversity, I'm like, no, you don't. And no, I don't. We don't actually want diversity when it comes to something that's wholly different. We want something that's, we don't necessarily want to be a monolith and say, and try to gatekeep for that. But we do want someone who's in the same framework, who understands the culture in which you are currently. So, you don't want someone who's coming in who has completely separate moral values to where they think that some, I don't know, they think that, I don't know, maybe the evil queen is a good person, or that the wicked witch should actually be, a sympathetic, anti-hero. No, she's bad and she deserves to be melted. So it's the same kind of thing. So we have a lot of problems with that, where we just have a bunch of people, they don't care what people actually believe, as long as they look the part and will say the correct words. But the thing is that they don't really care about like what's actually at your core. And the thing is that actually I don't want diversity when it comes to morality. I don't want a bunch of people who think that maybe it's okay to murder your neighbor if they annoy you on Saturday. That's not okay. I don't want that kind of diversity. So I don't think that they really know what they're talking about. And I think that they're just saying things that sound good and buzzwords that make them feel good, because this is the only way that they can get virtue of any kind, because they don't believe in an actual framework. They don't believe in an actual theology of any kind. The only thing that they actually go for is, does everybody look different? Therefore, that makes me a good person. That's it.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I got a
that's a better way of framing what I was trying to say. She's so much more elegant than me. Anyway, so I wrote a note to self real quick because I thought about it in the middle of your rant and didn't want to interrupt it. But yeah, my
Thank you. I
girlfriend
appreciate
was
that.
watching the show, right?
Hmm.
It's where these people have been like talking and they're together for like 90 days, and at the end they either get married or they don't, or
oh yeah,
break
I
up and
heard
stuff like that. Well, there's this one chick. She's from Florida, right?
Hmm.
And she's very liberal thinking, and she's been with this guy from South Africa who's Muslim.
Ooh.
Okay, and we're watching the show together, and
Hmm.
not because I enjoy it or anything, but because it was kind of interesting. Anyway, so dude is Muslim,
Hmm.
and
that's not going to
throughout
end
it,
well.
there's been little drops in this, that, and the other, and she's getting upset because she's afraid that he's going to want her to convert to
Oh,
be a Muslim,
there's no
right?
if about it.
And I was like, yeah, he totally wants her to convert, because if he is a traditional Muslim, there's only one way out of this, and that's to be not a traditional Muslim, move to the US, don't tell
Hmm.
any of his traditional family about it,
Yep.
and or just forget they exist, and
Yeah,
then they could live happily ever after or whatnot, and he can be a non-traditional Muslim living with this woman who's whatever religion she is. I don't even know what she is. But it's not going to happen. And then they visit his father, and he's very, pushing for the Muslim thing and stuff. And
Hmm.
then at the end, they wind up breaking up
Claro.
because he wants her to convert. And
Hmm.
at their last dinner, he's like, "Look, you either convert or we're done."
Hmm.
And she's like, "I'm so sidelined." She was like, apparently so sidelined by this, like it smacked her in the face, like she couldn't see it coming. And it's like, no, he's a Muslim. If you know
Yeah.
anything about the Muslim faith, that is what's going to happen, or you're going to break up. You
yeah,
shouldn't have went to begin with. I mean, the only thing that's keeping you safe right now is the fact that you're in South Africa.
well, not
Because
Yeah.
just
if you were in an
yeah,
actual Muslim country, you wouldn't have been allowed out the door without
Yeah.
being almost completely covered up.
not just
Well, yeah.
that,
The
but I
first thing you
mean,
would have been told is like, you need to put this burqa on before we
Hmm.
go anywhere. Um,
if you talk
and
back, five across the face.
don't talk
Yeah.
any, it's not a good thing for you to do. You want diversity. That's one of those things that you can't really bring in together and hope it commingles.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, I question what they mean when they say we want diversity. I'm like, what kind of diversity do you want?
No
Again, do
white
you want
people.
someone, yeah, do you want someone who's wholly different from what you are? They go, diversity is our strength. I'm like, is it though, homie? Because I don't think it is. Now, in
That's why the big
yeah,
argument on X is going on right now with the whole migration. And I've
yeah.
been, by the way, I've been on the receiving end of that. I went for an IT job. Come to
Uh-huh.
find out, the entire IT department is one Indian family.
Oh, of course.
And
Yeah. So
yeah,
the thing is that in a lot of these other cultures that are not based on our values, our very Western values, nepotism isn't just considered to be okay. It is a way of life. It is
Yeah.
how they roll. That is their modus operandi, as opposed to here where we're just like, no, nepotism is seen as bad. It's seen as favoritism, and it's seen as you have a blind spot. We just have different values. And the thing is that I'm not against the idea of hearing from your values, but I can also say, no, I think your values are garbage. Thank you for applying. Please go away now.
Yeah.
So just because someone has a different value doesn't mean it's a good value. I'm all for diverse values if they're better, or if they're good, or if they're interesting, if they have some sort of value, but not everything is equal. There are things that, we as Westerners used to do that we don't do anymore that were crap. And then there were things that, other nations do that are better. Like I like the idea of you take your shoes off in the house. I'm like, yes, I don't want to track all of that garbage into my house. Good
I
idea.
feel
I
like I
don't
should
have to.
start adopting that too myself.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have to keep cleaning my floors. That's amazing. I think that's fantastic. I like eating my chips with chopsticks. That's fantastic. I like certain aesthetics, but the thing is that that's not the same as saying
Chips
I'm going to change chips,
Chips.
like
so,
potato chips.
with chopsticks.
Dude,
Just
you want to
roll
get that
with it.
stuff? You want to get that doodle dust on your fingers and keep wiping them off all the time? I'm doing stuff,
No, I
man. I
lick
gotta.
them off. I'm a heathen. I'm a heathen. All the way. Heathen.
Okay, so see, we're diverse in this way. But see, the thing is that this isn't in something that actually like matters. These are
Yeah.
small things. These are
But
small
see-
little cultural ticks. But it's not saying I'm going to change my framework. And the thing is that when you were talking about that lady who was dating this Muslim guy and like, I don't see what the big deal is. And oh my gosh, I can't believe he wanted me to convert. Duh, lady. And the thing is that not only that, but he should have wanted you to convert. That should have been on his on his bucket list. They never should have started dating because of the fact that you don't want to date someone who has completely different moral values.
And what's funny is Christianity is the same way. You're not you're not supposed to really date somebody who's non-Christian.
Oh, I absolutely would not. No, I would not date somebody who doesn't subscribe to the same moral framework than I do. Because the thing is that if we come to something where we're at an impasse, and I say, well, this is what our text says, and this is what we believe in, and then he stares at me and goes, I don't understand what you're talking about, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to see eye to eye. He's going to think that I'm from Cuckoo Town, and I'm going to think that he's from Pagan Town, and he's morally inferior, and he's going to think that I'm a nutcase. This is no way to build to have a framework of any kind. It's kind of like remember there were these articles that came out where they were saying that, can you believe it? There are these websites that say, if you're conservative, don't even bother signing up to our dating app. And I'm like, good. I mean, if you guys, thank you. Make it easier.
I ran into those and I was like, all right.
Yeah, and people are like, can you believe it? I can't believe they're so close-minded. I'm like, no, this is just good sense. This is setting yourself up to not fail. Like, I don't understand. If this is important enough to you to screen someone out for this, then you should not try to date someone from this pool. Like these are people that are not, they're not going to understand you. They're not going to be coming from the same place as you. It's not saying that you hate them. This is saying that you don't want to be mated to them. Totally different.
Yeah.
So. All right, that's it. I think my rant's over now. I'm sorry, I had a lot built up. Okay,
but
I was sitting at a dinner quietly.
The whole equality thing, right?
Yeah. Not all are equal.
I'm sorry, not equality, the equity thing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one thing to have equality. It's another thing for equity, because you're talking about diversity, but you have to make everything equitable, which then of course means you're bringing everything down to a small thing to where everybody is exactly the same. And this is a problem with a lot of the competitive games where we were talking about earlier, where, like Smogon tries to take out all the randomness into it, and where they try to balance games to making all the randomness go out of it so it can be competitive and whatnot, while Marvel Rivals is like saying, fuck that, it's fun, we're not going to do that shit. Well, that's the same thing as equity. Is when you're trying to balance things out, you're losing all that diversity, you're losing all that stuff, and that's why when you have Smash Brothers, if you're not playing a speed character for the most part, like Fox or something, you're probably going to get outclassed at the end of the day, because that's the only viable option.
So I would say that I don't mind balancing to a certain extent. My problem with equity is not that that they're trying to balance things, because the thing is, I don't mind a level playing field. I mind an even outcome, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're running a foot race, and if you say, okay, well, everybody's going to run on the exact same plane. Everybody starts here, and they all finish there. Whoever gets there the fastest, through the grind, through having worked hard, through just natural talent, whatever, don't care. You get to the you just didn't give up, whatever, you get there. But with
The
equity, what you
winner is
have
you.
is with equity, what you have is you look at people, and when someone starts doing really well, what you do is you shoot them in the leg, so that so that way they
Yeah.
slow down,
You
and
tie
basically
one leg behind their back or something.
yeah, you basically wind up crippling anyone who's good enough, who's strong enough, so that everybody finishes at the same time. And
Yes.
anytime somebody starts pulling ahead, you basically hamstring them slightly until they're slow enough that they are able to keep up with the lazy, the slothful, the untalented, whatever. And the thing is that, no shade on you if you don't have the natural talent. Sometimes you can grind out of it, and sometimes maybe find something else to do, my dude. But I mean, that's the problem with equity, because of the fact that it's lying. Basically, it's saying everybody got here, they all got first place. No, what happened is we had interference from you putting your thumb on the scale, hurting other people to make them not succeed, to make it so that it's not worth it. You're like, well, why should I grind? Why should I work hard? Why should I do anything that's worth doing?
And I
Because
think,
you're just going to shoot me when I do.
yeah, and I think that's actually a indicative of the mindset of modern day employees in the workforce. Is why bother if all my shit's getting taken at the end of the week anyway?
Yeah, we started the stream off of why we hate the government 101 again. Because my check came in and they took like over 35 hours worth of work.
Yeah.
In government taxes.
Yeah. That's why I am really all about getting rid of the IRS entirely, getting rid of income tax entirely. Here's the thing: I
was still happy with my check, but still,
I want to get rid of all
nice
taxes. I think income tax is the stepping stool.
Never look at gross, man. Never look at the gross. That's
Yeah,
the only
I
way to be
know.
happy. I live in California. You cannot look at the gross.